final scene scrimmage. But I want to see what kind of team he's going to have, which I know I think he's going to have a good team. I think he's an excellent coach, and you know, I'm just happy to be here in Cole Fieldhouse. I tried to tell him last year you ought to have it at midnight. I still think it ought to be at midnight because that's the way we drew a crowd. Most of the students, they just starting to get right at midnight. 8 o'clock now, it's just starting to go to parties and so forth. So that's the reason we filled it up. I think it was because it was at midnight. But it's an honor for me to be here, and I'm glad I could make it because I'm 81 years. I'm almost 82. So people forget I'm not the same guy that was stomping the sidelines years ago. They almost couldn't hit the script. But you know, I'm happy to be here. I think it's going to be a wonderful evening, and you know, I'm just looking forward to it. The only objection I had was it shouldn't be at midnight. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, if Lefty thinks it should have been midnight, it should have been at midnight. Because that's how. I'm just delighted that we're included, and women's basketball at Maryland is a front runner because of people like this man right here, Lefty Driesell, and Jim Kehoe. And I was a student at Maryland, and we used to run up after practice and run into the games, and there was nobody there. We could get a seat anywhere. And then when I came back to grad school and tried to come in and see a game, if you didn't have a ticket or you weren't there early, he had already just totally changed the culture. And he was, I don't know if you realize, but he was a mentor to me, along with Donnie McKnight, because he helped me figure out what I needed to learn about college basketball, because women didn't have that. And he's a leader in all of basketball, not just men's basketball, at Maryland.
Thank you. In fact, I played against your team one time.
Absolutely. This is a true story. We were going to play Old Dominion, and I always had a scrimmage team come together, right? And they had a big hand on it, and you know, huge team. And the team didn't show up, and so I'm hustling, trying to get Lefty's managers to join in, help, you know, scrimmage against my girls. And he comes up to me, he says, "Chris, what's going on?" I said, "Well, my team didn't show up." He says, "Well, what do you need?" I said, "I need a tall left-hander." And he goes, "I'm a tall left-hander." And Lefty, I wish we'd have had it on film, but Lefty scrimmaged with our women's team. And I kept yelling at Myra, "Myra, get around him, you got to front him." She goes, "I'm trying." He was up and down that court with our team, and he was good. He was very good.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you let me play. That was probably my last game.
What year was that, do you remember? Or around what year?
Well, it was Myra's time, so that had to be early 80s.
And Donovan was it? Oh,
yeah. It was around 80, I want to say 82.
Okay.
Something like that.
And Lefty, what was the genesis of the UCLA of the East quote that you always are credited?
Well,
people talk about it.
I know I've answered that a lot of times, but see, I was recruiting Tom McMillan, and well, excuse me, I had to go back a little further. I was at Davidson, and we were 27-3 that year, ranked third in the final poll, and Charlie Scott beat us on the last second shot. And anyway, so Coach Kehoe was talking to me about coming to Maryland, and then, so he brought Jay McMillan to breakfast with me, and Jay said, "Listen, Lefty, Maryland could be the UCLA of the East." I said, "Yeah, if we had Tom McMillan, we might be." So Jay, I wanted him to help me recruit Tom, which he did. In fact, he drove him to campus the last day you could register. So I was more or less, it was a recruiting pitch to get Tom McMillan, to tell you the truth.
What did it feel like when you just walked in the building today, and what memories came back and all that?
Well, I really haven't had a chance to think about it much, but you know, this was my life for 17 years. And I woke up every morning thinking about Maryland and winning basketball games and getting my players, you know, to graduate and to go to class. And so I'm just proud of the fact that I had some great players and they're great young men. Most of them are very successful right now. And so I mostly think about my players, probably. And we had some big wins in here, and I enjoyed watching Chris's teams play. And, you know, I was here 19 years, so 17 years as a coach, and
about you? Your reaction?
Oh, well, I haven't gotten past the tunnel yet.
I know me either.
Because, it just, I can't wait to see some of the players and Lefty. I was really anxious to see Lefty and Johnny Holiday. There's just so many memories. I was here 27 years at Cole Fieldhouse, and actually in the retirement, it was a natural thing for me. You know, new facility, new coach. It was my time. So I was here in the last game, and had a lot of nice memories at that time. And I don't know. The players are the main remembrances that you have.
Can you coach one more game?
Can I coach one?
Can you go back and coach against each other?
Oh, I don't know about that.
You tell me a story about it.
Pat Summit called me when I retired, and she goes, "Chris, $4.99? Are you kidding me? What's going on?" I go, "Well, you think about it, Pat. It's, they're opening a new gym. They need it. It'd be good to have a whole new, fresh start." She goes, "Well, then you come on over and you coach one of my games for me, so you get that 500th win." And so when she was about to go for her 1,000th, I was going to call her up and go, "Hey, Pat, that game you won me today?" But I didn't do it.
Coach, I saw that you, Coach Driesell, I saw that you had contacted Coach Turgeon a couple of times since they announced they were coming back to Cole. What did you say to him? Were you just really excited that they were coming back here for Midnight Madness?
Well, what I told him was, and it's not a secret, but I told him have it at midnight, because you'll fill it up. See, he told me the reason he switched over from Comcast to here was because attendance wasn't that great the last 2 years. I mean, he said it might have been 6,000 or 7,000 people in that arena, and Cole was a lot smaller. Well, I said, that's great, but have it at midnight, And the other thing I told him, which he's not probably going to do this, and I told Kevin too, this is the last year that Maryland's going to be in the ACC, which I was not in favor of that, but I didn't vote. Tom McMillan was the only one that voted against him. He's on the board. But, I said, look, what you need to do in Cole or Comcast is have a great big screen up there for the Duke, North Carolina, and NC State game, because they're not going to play you here. So it let all the students and the fans come in and see the last Duke game, the last NC State game, the last, North Carolina game. They'll never play them again, more than likely, unless they play them in the NCAAs. I'm pulling for Mark to get in the NCAAs and win the national championship. In fact, I told him when he got the job, I knew Mark some, and I said, "Mark, you just got one of the best jobs in the country." And I think he did, and I think he's going to do a great job here.
Any more questions? Thank you, coaches.